Lynch TD. Before Kathleen commences her address, I would ask that we'd have silence in the hall, and particularly when people are leaving, will they leave quietly and not interfere with the debate for other people. I had a complaint here yesterday, for instance, that people are staying outside the door and that the noise is carrying into the hall, the back of the hall in particular, and people can't hear the debate. So let's facilitate one another and maintain order. Thank you.
Morning. Not certain whether it was the debate on the Vatican or Roisin Shortall's efforts in relation to getting us all to drink less has such a wide crowd here this morning. We'll put it down to Roisin's efforts. As the Minister with responsibility for equality, I know you're all getting a bit confused at this stage as to exactly what I am responsible for. No, I'm not confused. And I see Jerry in the front row here that's laughing because we've been at several events together under a different heading. Could I just say that I've always had an abiding interest in inequality. And the reason I've had that interest is because I come from a sector of society that has probably been burdened with more inequality than most, working class and women. And, you know, I don't say that in order to get the hackles of the men in the audience up, because as Rose, a friend of mine in the audience, you know, I'm exceptionally fond of men. I think everyone should have one. I'm joking. Could I just say that equality, I think, sometimes gets boxed into corners, you know, and the reason I started off the way I did is because it gets boxed into exactly those corners. You know, what is equality? Is it a sort of male versus female? Is it a gender issue? Is it an issue in relation to how many people get elected? Is it an issue in relation to how many people are on state boards? What is their gender? What is their class? Where do they come from? What are their educational qualifications? And I think to really box equality off into those particular boxes is doing equality a terrible injustice. It's doing it an injustice. Because my view of the future in relation to equality is that we should actually be blind to all of those things. I think it would be really revolutionary, for instance, if we were to ensure that all CVs that go in for a job did not have any indication of who the applicant was, and that you simply looked at the qualification. I think it would be very interesting to see who gets called for interview. Because I know, and you know, that we are employing least those we educate most. Any faculty in any third-level university around this country will tell you that on average it is 57% women. 57% women. So we are employing least those we educate most. And we should remember that. When it comes to people being elected, and we have the new legislation, and that new legislation is only one very small step, and I welcome it. I welcome it because it's a step forward. 10 years ago I would have said to you that I am completely opposed to quotas, and I would have I want to be elected on merit. Well, why are there more meritorious men than women? That's all I want to know. And if you can convince me of that argument, then I will go back to the merit. I will go back to that. I think quotas are the only way forward, and they're the only way forward for a particular reason. Because it's not where the voting takes place. It is anti-democratic. The system that we have in place is anti-democratic. And it is anti-democratic for everyone. As I say, if we are truly to be equal in society, we must be blind to the barriers. And not to allow people the choice when they go into the ballot box of a true and complete ballot paper. The argument of, why don't women vote for women? Well, why would I vote for a Fianna Fáil woman? I want to have a choice of a Labour woman. And I know Fianna Fáil want to have a choice of a Fianna Fáil woman, and I think we should allow that choice to be there. And that's why quotas are important, and why they're important, and why it's been introduced at this level is about the selection process. Because that's where the barrier is. And we might love to stand here and tell us that we're better human beings than everyone else in the world, but we're not. We're as flawed as anyone else. And those barriers do exist in every single political party, including Sinn Féin. So when we talk about equality, when we talk about true equality, it is about ensuring that we all have the right to participate in society without the barriers that are man-made being put up against us. And whether those barriers are class, finance, education, politics, boards, any of those things, then we must ensure that they are removed. I'm not fond of quoting British politicians, but one I often quote is Jack Straw, who one morning, very early Sunday morning, he was being interviewed by David Frost. And David Frost said to him, "But Minister, you cannot legislate for attitudes." And he said, "That's true, I can't. But I can legislate to ensure that your attitude doesn't detrimentally affect me." Thank you.